Hey, good morning, and welcome to the Truth Factor, where we do headlines with an attitude. We have a little bit of a glare from the sun coming in, but it's a beautiful day out. It's chilly here, but God is good, right? Anyway, we have some headlines, and we're going to get right into these headlines, guys. Every one of these articles is in the Wixit in the description in the box below. It looks like we've had an active morning, so let's just get into this. Hold on. Oops. Let me. I don't think I shared. Hold on, guys. Just a second. Oh, well, you probably just heard that, but sorry. I know notifications are not very good these days. All right. Anyway. There we go. We got it going now. Sorry. Let me go ahead just in case. I don't think I have anything to share that's going to be needing that, but just in case, so we don't have to come back to it. All right, guys. We have from Hal Turner this morning. It says U.S. deploys a massive number of military planes. 4:30 a.m. This morning. CONUS, Middle East is getting much worse, and here is what this morning looked like. I guess that's military planes, guys. That's a lot. That says the armed forces of the United States deployed an unprecedented number of military aircraft over the 48 continuous United States. At about 4:30 this morning, for an unknown reason, most observers have never seen this many military planes flying over the continental United States ever. Social media lit up about this early this morning, with some social media users proclaiming something big is happening. WW3, stay vigilant and prepare for the worst. The map above shows only the military aircraft over the continental United States this morning. Thankfully, nothing happened, at least not yet, as this writing this morning, the story at 9:58 Eastern Daylight Time. Over in the Middle East, things seem to be spiraling out of control, headed for a very fierce regional war. Bahrain announced that Israeli ambassador has left the country. Bahrain ambassador to Israel has been recalled, and the economic relations halted with Israel. The Iran's defense minister Mohammad Reza Ashtahini this morning said that the Aqsa storm operation showed that the destruction of the Zionist regime is imminent. If this war and the crimes of the Zionists against humanity do not stop, they will soon receive a heavy blow in the region and beyond. Freedom-loving people and Muslims around the world will not be patient much longer. Iran's president says the U.S. is the main cause of the Israeli crimes in Gaza. In another country, Iraq chief of staff of Iraqi Hashad al-Shabi Abu Fattah, regional conditions herald war, and we will be with the Palestinians as a government people. And as Hashad al-Shahib, we emphasize the high readiness for all our fighters in the various sectors and formations, and their full readiness to defend the country's sovereignty and national borders. Hashad al-Shabi has over 300,000 fighters who are experienced in urban warfare. They defeated ISIS. The Kingdom of Jordan informed Yemen that it will not allow its airspace to be used against Israel. Saudi Arabia also opposed Yemen's request to use its airspace against Israel, but they do let Israeli planes use their airspace. I don't know. I guess that was just a note. In Gaza, the UNICEF reports situation in Gaza is catastrophic. Relentless bombing, a massive increase in the displacement of children, families, and no safe places. Hamas. This morning, Hamas issued an unofficial statement. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, press statement. The White House statements regarding working on international regional consensus to manage the Gaza Strip after the end of the Zionist aggression on Gaza are rude and unacceptable. Statements as the Free Palestinian People are not the ones upon whom guardianship is imposed. We say clearly that the attempt of blatant intervention by the United States to impose a new reality that suits them and the Zionist occupation of in the Gaza Strip are completely rejected, and our Palestinian people will confront them with all force. The decision to arrange the Palestinian situation is the decision of the Palestinian people, and they alone are able to determine their fate, future, and interest. These malicious American statements and plans are pipe dreams in their minds. Our great Palestinian people and their valiant resistance will prevail over this fascist occupation, and our people will impose their will and seize their rights by force to establish their independent Palestinian states with Jerusalem as its capital. The Islamic Resistance Movement, Hamas. So again, you can see it's really, they want to just be, the owner of the land. They've never been the owner of the land, but anyway. Islamic Resistance Movement, Hamas. Negotiations between many countries are ongoing, and one of the most informed and influential Israeli observers, Yoni Ben Mechem, confirmed that there was indeed information about a potential plan for Hamas leaders traveling abroad in exchange for the release of kidnapped Israelis. According to the observer, we are talking about the so-called Beirut model. Israel is exploring the possibility that the leaders of the military wing of Hamas will leave the Strip in exchange for their safety, the creation of another government in the Strip, and the release of all hostages. Meanwhile, in Turkey, Iran's foreign minister, Hossein Amir Abdulhan, has said that the Turkish president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, has agreed with the ideal proposed by his Iranian counterpart, Ebrahim Raisi, that the heads of states of the organization as the Islamic Cooperation, the OIC, meet on Gaza. More jarring, worrisome. As the world is keenly aware, Israel told civilians in Gaza to move to the south of the Gaza Strip, and it is actively bombing the north of the Strip. Over 1 million civilians are said to have moved south, fleeing for their lives as Israel bombs dropped in the north. But this morning, a very worrisome development took place. Israel began fighting in the south. The map below shows the location of the new outbreak. Why would Israeli demand all Gazans move to the south of the Strip for their own safety and then commence militarily battle in the south? This development leads credence to the claims made by many earlier on that the actual goal of Israel is to ethnically cleanse the entire Gaza Strip and forcibly displace 2.3 million Palestinians. Why else would Israel commence battle in the south? In addition of what's going on in Israel in the South Gaza Strip, the IDF spokesperson revealed this morning that Iranian militia is fighting alongside Hezbollah on Lebanon border in Israel's north. An Iranian militia arrived in southern Lebanon and is assisting Hezbollah in fighting against Israel, according to the IDF Arabic spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Avevi Adrai on Thursday. According to the announcement, the Eman Hussein militia was assigned to assist in Syria in recent years, but now it is involved in friction with the IDF on the Lebanese border in recent weeks and takes part in the offensive activity into Israeli territory. Clock ticking. Regardless of what they are talking about, the clock is still ticking toward Friday at 3 p.m. Local time in Beirut, Tel Aviv, when the head of Hezbollah is scheduled to make a televised speech about the ongoing hostilities between Israel and Hamas. Word came out yesterday that both Hezbollah and Iran allegedly told Israel and the United States that unless Israeli hostilities halt by sunrise tomorrow, it will be an all-out war by tomorrow afternoon. The clock is still ticking. If open war is declared during the Hezbollah speech, it would take place at 3 p.m. local time in Beirut, Tel Aviv, which translates to 9 a.m. on the U.S. East Coast. We could wake up tomorrow morning to a world on fire. And sad, that is true. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it, right? And then we have Biden, this is from CBS, calls for a pause in the Israeli Hamas war. How convenient for all of this. So in Minneapolis, the Biden has said that he thought that there should be a humanitarian pause in the Israeli-Hamas war after his campaign speech Wednesday evening was interrupted by a protest calling for a ceasefire. I think we need a pause, Biden says.
Do they think this is a video game?
I guess.
Pause a war?
I think,
I mean, really? Oh, we need to pause it?
No,
really?
Not a ceasefire, a pause, yeah.
It's not a video game.
Anyway. The call was a subtle departure for Biden and top White House aides who throughout the Mideast crisis have been steadfast in saying that they will not dictate how the Israelis carry out their military operations in response to the October 7th attack by Hamas. But the president has faced intensifying pressure from human rights groups, fellow world leaders, and even liberal members of his own Democratic Party who say that the Israeli bombardment of Gaza is a collective punishment and that it is time for a ceasefire. In his comments, Biden was exerting pressure on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to give Palestinians at least a brief reprieve from the relentless military operation that have left thousands dead and mirrored the 141 square mile strip in rolling humanitarian crisis. The White House has declined to call for a ceasefire, but has signaled that the Israelis should consider humanitarian pauses to allow civilians to receive aid and for foreign nationals trapped on the strip to leave Gaza. Guys, I think a pause is just is laughable. I mean, you're in the middle of a war. I'm with my husband on this. You're going to pause so that you can doctor them up so that you can kill them later. I mean, it just absolutely it's laughable in my opinion, but and this is not a laughing matter. I just think that even to utter a pause is ridiculous at this point. The president was speaking to a crowd of supporters in Minneapolis when a young woman got up and yelled, "Mr. President, if you care about Jewish people as a rabbi, I need you to call for a ceasefire." Mr. Biden replied, "I think we need a pause. A pause means give time to get the prisoners out." He went on to say, "I'm the guy that convinced Bibi to call for a ceasefire to let the prisoners out. I'm the guy that talked to Sisi to convince him to open the door to let the humanitarian aid through the Rafah border." The White House sources told Mr. Biden was referring to Judith and Natalie Ronan of Illinois, the mother and daughter who were released earlier this month. The pause in hostilities lasted a few hours to facilitate the transfer, sources said. Biden's presence in the city drew 1,000 demonstrators near the fundraiser. They carried Palestinian flags and signs and said, "Stop bombing children, free Palestinians, and ceasefire now." Biden said that he understood the emotions motivating the demonstrator, who was quickly shouted down by others in the room and removed. "This is incredibly complicated for the Israelis," Mr. Biden went on. "It's incredibly complicated for the Muslim world as well. I supported a two-state solution. I have from the very beginning. The fact of the matter is that Hamas is a terrorist organization, a flat-out terrorist organization," he said. Biden noted that he has been working on a humanitarian aid, saying he was the one who persuaded both Netanyahu and the Egyptian President Sisi to allow aid into Gaza. White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said earlier Wednesday that the president's newly confirmed ambassador to Israel, Jack Lew, would soon be dispatched to the Middle East. So, will he get his pause? Will that pause be sufficient and in time for the threat? I don't know, guys. I don't know. A pause. It's not a ceasefire. I don't think it's in Bibi's hands anymore, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. All right. On to further updates, guys. We have in Ukraine 24,000 dead in 48 hours. Russians have crushed the outflank attack of Ukrainians and entered the coke factory. Heavy fighting is taking place in Advogat as Russian forces retighten the cordon around the town after a failed large-scale Ukrainian counteroffensive. The Russians has raised their flag on the artificial hill, Terrakon, breached the Ukrainian defense lines, and now the fighting is taking place inside the coke factory of Advika. The Ukrainian forces were forced to launch an all-out attack, literally throwing everything at their disposal to retake the man-made hill and waste dump located next to the coke plant, but their efforts did not pay off. Russian forces are a breath away from northern suburbs of the city. The battles inside the coke factory will show how quickly the Russians will enter the city of Advika. The whole of Advika is burning. Fierce battles are taking place. The Russians are advancing, commented the head of the local administration. According to Barabbas, the Russians moved about 10,000 soldiers in the direction of Advika. According to the latest data in Advika, as well as in the area of the village of Berdichi, where the Russian armed forces broke through the flank defense in the Ukrainian armed forces have lost at least 2.4 thousand soldiers. In other words, the Ukrainian army lost about a fifth of the Advesky Kravansko area garrison in just 2 days and is now making a feverish effort to replace losses on this part of the front. This is horrible, guys. More death, right? As of the morning of October 31st, the operational situation in this area is as follows. The main units of the Russian troops were entrenched in the forest zone along the rail west of the waste heap. Russian forces entered the industrial zone itself and are fighting in the coke factory itself, Advika. Well, I guess we could say Ukraine hasn't gave up. They still are pursuing, but I don't know why. Anyway, here we are with an insider paper that China this morning is on alert after U.S. and Canadian ships cross the Taiwan Strait. I'm going to check in over here, guys. Hello, Watchman. How are you? You heard a boom yesterday, and you think some F-35s apparently training. I haven't seen that here for a lot of years. Interesting. I know, right? Absolutely, Watchman. I am with you, brother. I agree. Warning, the FBI making these warnings is just a call sign for a lot of people. Hey, Kelly. I hear you. I hear you, Kelly. It is crazy, isn't it, guys? Just all this stuff. Hey, MG, how are you, brother? An interview on NBC where a teen. I don't think I'd make anything with salt water, but that's just me. Just saying. Oh, he will indeed. I got that article too, by the way. Watchmen, that 7,000 from In Time. We'll get to it. But here we have China on alert after the U.S. and Canadian ships crossed Taiwan. China said Thursday its troops were on a constant high alert after the U.S. and Canadian warships passed through the Taiwan Strait, their second joint passage in 2 months. The USS Raphael Perlotta and Arleigh Burke-class destroyers and the Royal Canadian Navy's Halifax-class frigate, the HMCS Ottawa, conducted a routine transit through the strait on Wednesday, the U.S. Navy said. Troops in the theater remain. I just love how they say in the theater, guys, because that just to me, to me, it's like, okay, this is your cue. This is the production. This is how we're this is how we're going with it. You know, it is just, the production is just going so greatly, I guess. Anyway, troops in the theater remain on constant high alert and will resolutely protect national sovereignty and security, as well as regional peace and stability. Senior Colonel Shi Yi, a spokesperson for China's Eastern Theater Command, said in the statement, She slammed the latest transit as a public hype and said its naval and air forces had trailed their entire course. The ship's passage come after 2 warships belonging to the U.S. and Canada sailed through their narrow waterways separating Taiwan and the mainland China on September 9th. The United States and its Western allies have increased freedom in navigation crossing by naval vessels by both of the Taiwan Strait and undisputed South China Sea to reinforce that both are international waterways, and angering Beijing. The Seventh Fleet said in a statement that the transit had made in accordance with international law and through a corridor in the strait that is beyond the territorial sea of any coastal state. Cooperation like this represents the centerpiece of our approach to secure the prosperous region with aircraft and ships of all nations may fly, sail, and operate anywhere international law allows. Taiwan's defense minister said Thursday it was monitoring the passage on Wednesday night, but added that the situation was normal. China, which claims Taiwan as its own territory to be seized one day, has stepped up militarily and political pressure on the self-ruled island as relations have plunged in recent years. In September, China sent in 103 planes around Taiwan within a 24-hour period, and Taipei described as a recent high. Taipei said that it had detected an unspecified number of Chinese warplanes around the island around 8:50 GMT time on Thursday, General Mountain Time. Hold on, guys. On Thursday morning, of which 20 crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait and entered its central, north, and southwest air defense identification zone. The aircraft also conducted a joint combat patrol with Chinese naval vessels. The defense ministry added that it was monitoring the situation with its own aircraft, ships, and land-based missile systems. I guess they're just trying to keep it active, fluent. I don't know. I don't know why we have to have all these actors all on the same stage, right? All at one time. Anyway, I guess to keep it interesting. Yeah. Anyway, Canada is also facing a state of emergency in Harrison Hot Springs as critical water pumps fail. And this here is from City News Everywhere. The BC Village Hot Springs declared a state local emergency on Wednesday as it deals with major water pump failures. 2 of the 3 water pumps at the village's water treatment facility have failed, according to Mayor Ed Wood, and he says the issue could limit the village's ability to provide clean drinking water or fight fires. The pumps have failed in the last week, and we are running on 1 pump, which is keeping up with the capacity right now, as we are quite time of the year, he said. In the meantime, Wood says that the village is setting up a bypass pump for emergency firefighting purposes, and he explains that 1 permanent pump potentially could be repaired within the week. In terms of a permanent replacement for one of the failed pumps, the mayor says it could take as long as 3 months to get one in. Wow. The state of emergency is in place until November 8th, but Woods adds that it could be extended or canceled as the situation evolves. So,
right. It says that's a village, right?
Yeah, that's what it says.
It's a small town.
Yeah.
So what's the big national news? I mean, really?
Failed water pumps, honey. Failed water pumps. Well, it's a national news because it's failed.
I mean, come on. You got the worldwide.
If water pumps failed here, it would be national news for us. Okay.
I'm just saying, it sounds like you're a YouTuber of the what the hell's with Otter Creek with bad water. So it's got to be nationwide.
Oh my gosh. It doesn't have to be nationwide for it to be news. Give me a break, honey. Okay.
I'm just saying that. I mean, local news, yeah, but I don't understand it.
Yeah, hush. Anyway, then we have the FDA identifies E. coli outbreak, but leaves many questions unanswered. So we have Green Bay, Wisconsin. Federal officials are investigating a new outbreak of infections. Nearly 40 people have gotten sick from a foodborne illness, E. coli, but the FDA report leaves more questions than answers. The Food and Drug Administration has a process of how it investigates outbreaks. It says 37 people have gotten sick so far, but has not released information on where those people live or how severe the cases are. The CDC has not released any information on the outbreak yet. We'll be following this so we can alert you, especially let you know if we're impacted in Wisconsin. Food-borne illness, often called food poisoning, comes from food contaminated by toxins or bacteria. The FDA says that there are about 48 million cases of food poisoning each year in the U.S. That's 1 in 6 Americans, coming down it with an estimated 128,000 hospitalizations and 3,000 deaths every year. E. coli is naturally occurring, and we all have some in our bodies, but too much of it overwhelms our natural defense. The E. coli itself does not have a smell or taste, so it's hard to detect in your food. Symptoms of E. coli include bad stomach cramps, diarrhea, or bloody stool. So, and that crap can kill you. So be careful, guys. Anyway, kind of vague reporting, I know, on the E. coli stuff, but it is what it is. Okay, guys. This here I saw in our event list. This is where I got this. I thought it was rather interesting that Newsweek, this was yesterday's, mass poisoning of Russian cadets sparks criminal investigation. But guys, you go down here and I don't know that it's mass poisoning, but it says more than 20 Russian children have been poisoned at a cadet school in Moscow region, sparking a criminal investigation. Medical help was sought by 22 children at the cadet school in Luhovsky in Moscow, and of this figure, 19 were hospitalized. Russian state-run news agency TASS cited the press service of the regional Ministry of Health as saying, Russia's investigation committee said it opened criminal investigations into the mass poisoning of the children. The committee added that the preliminary cause was a rotavirus infection of gastrointestinal infection that mostly infects children. Local online publication Vesti reported. An investigation has been launched. Yeah. But then we go down here. The news outlet added that the children attend the Oral Cadet School. So that's where they go. According to the U.S. Disease Center, rotavirus commonly causes severe watery diarrhea and vomiting in infants and in young children. So in June, 60 cadets of the Ural Law Institute in Yekaterinburg, Russia's fourth largest city, were poisoned, local news outlet, the URA-RU, reported at that time. So it seems like this isn't the first time, guys, that they have had some kind of poisoning to these cadets. Kind of crazy, huh? Anyway, then we have end time headlines. Migrant caravan heading to the U.S. swells to 7,000. Chinese influence showing migrants how to cross the border. The migrant caravan heading to the U.S. has grown by over 1,000 in just 24 hours. Social media teaches Chinese citizens how to reach the American dream. According to Daily Mail, hundreds more have joined the caravan of migrants in Mexico bound north, one of the organizers said, bringing the total number of about 7,000 as the group traveled through the southern state of Chiapas. Organizers in Mucheca said on Tuesday the caravan had swelled since Monday by about 1,000 more. So, guys, if 1,000 can add in 24 hours, just think of how many more people it will be by the time it gets to the border, right? Absolutely kind of crazy. And it's still coming. And guess what? They'll all get in, right? So we'll just have to keep our eye on this so-called 7,000 members and just see what transpires. Hey, AB. Still holding lots of Springer Mountain Farms. Okay, that's cool. That's not cool. I understand that, though. And that's good that you're still carrying, I guess, hauls for the farms. It does indeed. It does indeed. You have to be careful, that's for sure. And things will be. I absolutely agree with you there, brother. I think everybody here agrees. This weekend is going to be one of them crazy weekends. The bases that we have overseas are getting attacked, and they are. Well, there was a warning that we heard the last few days, Watchman, about the U.S. needed to get out of Iraq because they were going to kill everybody there. Let's see if there's anything else that Hal has. If there's any updates anywhere this morning, guys. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, so far nothing else update, just what we've already put out. Anyway. When the chickens stop moving, it'll be the first to let you know. Okay. We appreciate that very much. Yeah. It definitely will be. Yeah, and just all these warnings of everything that's taken place is just kind of crazy. But anyway, I got to get ready. I have clothes still to wash. I've got a lot to do, and I don't have a whole lot of time to get it all done in. So that being said, guys, hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow, maybe later tonight. I don't know. If anything happens, I'll try to post. I might not be able to do a live video, but I will try and post it in the community tab. We are headed out of town. That being said, we love you. I hope you all stay safe and just be alert with everything out there. You do as well, AB. You do as well, brother. We love you. And I do hope you all have a blessed day. God bless y'all. We'll see you later.